up, everyone? OG over here from PlayerEssence. I just got done watching Gamescom 2019, and I'll have to admit that while I am going to be respectful, with all due respect to all the different developers that went out there and showed their games, this is not a knock at Keighley and Kojima's Romance. This is not a knock at Europe or their E3. This is not a knock at anybody that's working hard to create their game. This is purely for my and you guys' entertainment that we are about to start this and start to talk about this, because I found this this show kind of garbage. And like I said, not a knock at the games. The games are probably going to be fine. People are probably going to pick the games up. They're probably going to be good. But for the hype that they are trying to lead to kind of go into this, to all this stuff that was kind of, you know, heading into the hype and everything, like, this was definitely an underwhelming show. Let me give you guys a few different reasons why it was an underwhelming show. The first and probably the biggest reason is that SEGA just throws AAA out there like the dude, the blank avatar on YouTube saying, "Where is my AAA Switch games?" They throw AAA out there just like that dude. They might even be worse. That's the problem that I had. SEGA, what you doing, baby? Can we get Spice Williams or whatever? Baby, what you doing, man? What are you doing? What are you doing there, sitting there and hyping up a AAA game? Like, why would you say that? And then you've got a techno Geico caveman directing some type DJ Geico caveman in space. We have no idea what's going on. And then you reveal some type of Age of Empires or Civilization style of game, and then put AAA behind it. What makes that AAA? That's what I want to know. Is it because the old school definition of AAA, which used to be the quality of the game? Or is it because you're putting more money into this game? Or is it because you're a Japanese developer who's funding a Western game, so it costs you a lot more money because of the exchange prices with yen and dollars? Which one is it? Because I'm kind of confused here. I'm kind of confused. And no shots to RGT, but was that a Knights game as well? No, I'm joking on that one. I love RGT. Shout outs. Congratulations, man. I'm the channel. The channel's doing great. But anyway, I just want to talk about this. Because I felt that was probably the biggest thing that led to people getting like letdowns, right? Was definitely that. Because they sit there and hype that up, and then it ended up being not what anybody was expecting. SEGA has some of the most classic, most revered, best looking, or not best looking, but just like best IPs in the history. They have such a large catalog, and then we get that. You know, now like I said, can it still be a good game? Absolutely. But when you say a new AAA SEGA game that's coming, you're expecting something that's going to be shocking, that's going to be groundbreaking, and the next thing you know, I see a Geico caveman in space doing a DJ party, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on here. That's the first thing that was made this a kind of a disappointment. The second thing that kind of made this a disappointment was, I would say, the ending. I mean, the second thing, it was like, okay, Kojima's there, that's great, you know, he gets his little hype reel, and then the gameplay of Death Stranding. They showed off 2 clips of Death Stranding, and then they showed off 2 like character clips where they introduced the characters, which is fine. And then they said, let's get you hyped for gameplay. So everyone's thinking, well, okay, now I'm gonna see the time where I actually get to hit somebody with that briefcase, like they showed in the trailer that they showed off back then. But there was even less action in this gameplay session than what they showed in, you know, or in the last trailer. There was more action in the last trailer than in this gameplay session. They showed the main character peeing and growing magic mushrooms from peeing on the ground, like literally like peeing like for a long time, which is okay, fine. And then they went up there and then they met Jeff Keighley, which we already saw Jeff Keighley here, but now Jeff Keighley's in the game, and you know, and it's like, okay, we didn't see any briefcase smashing. I was expecting at least 3 or 4 dudes to kind of drop down like Final Fantasy 15 and say, you're not supposed to be here, and then like you pull out your briefcase. And, you know, I was making jokes in the stream that, like, this dude's backpack looked like he's about to go on a, you know, super space trip and never come back. I mean, it was looking kind of crazy. So I'm thinking he's going to pull out some gadgets, you know, and everything. And then, you know, and, like, hit people and do some stuff. But the next thing you know, he turns into Tim the Tool Man Taylor and pulls out a ladder, which we saw before, and says, all right, I got a ladder. And then he goes and climbs up the ladder. And then he goes to there. What gameplay was that? It was just a big, huge, open, empty world where he peed on the ground. And a magic mushroom came up. We didn't even know what the mushroom did, but if you pee more with more people there, there's something good can happen according to the developers. So we talked to Keighley, and he For some reason, he goof troops. He damn goof troops and falls off a damn cliff that he used a ladder to get up to in the first place. So the man uses a ladder to get up to this place and then goof troops his way down just so they can show up a gameplay mechanic where you're waving. This is not a PlayStation controller, but where you're waving around a PlayStation controller and rocking a baby. So this man intentionally goof trooped and fell off of a cliff so we can show the baby getting upset. I mean, like, come on, come on. I don't know about like that controlled gameplay. I'm not doubting the gameplay of Death Stranding. What I'm doubting is what they showed. Because there is combat in that game, there is more elements to that game's gameplay, and they literally showed less than what they showed before. They didn't show any briefcase hitting or anything. Like I said on Twitter, I said this on Twitter, so if you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you follow me there. I think Death Stranding is one of those games that you just need to play. These short gameplay snippets and these movie game stuff is just something that I'm just not really, like, you know, super, like, oh my gosh, or crazy about. Shoutouts, thank you for the follow. I'm just not crazy about them. I think it's one of those games that I'm just going to go out there, just going to buy it. Even if it sucks, whatever, it sucks. But I'm going to experience it just to see if I'll like this type of game. Because it's something different. It is something different. It's something new. So let me go ahead and just try it out. Maybe I'll like it. Maybe I won't. It'll just go in my backlog. Just like damn near every single game that I get at this point. You know, PS4 and Xbox One just goes in my backlog. But I mean, like, my problem was with what they showed. Not necessarily the game itself, but just like what they showed. It was very boring. Another problem with Gamescom, I think that there was a lot of, I wouldn't say repeat games, but there was just a lot of games that were like, this game's like Call of Duty, or this game's like Destiny, or this game's like what we've seen before. I mean, there wasn't a lot of new for this game. I mean, Comanche's coming back, which is awesome. That was an awesome announcement. I have to give it credit for that. But it didn't seem like it was very exciting for a lot of the other games that were shown. There was a lot of forgettable titles in terms of expectations heading into this. You know, we had people hyping it up. It's not like an indies presentation or something to where like, okay, well, we know what's coming, you know, and all that. Now, I didn't get myself too hyped. I just expected a little bit better showing from stuff like Death Stranding because we knew it was going to be there, and I don't think that was a great showing from Death Stranding at all. I think the game's going to be good. You can tell that they put a lot of time and love and care into the game, but I mean, like, goof trooping on purpose, you know, goof trooping on purpose and rocking a baby with motion controls, I don't think that's something that people are going to be like, oh, that gets me hyped to play the game. Like, the whole world was empty, you know, they didn't even show any like wildlife or anything, or if there is wildlife, I'm not really sure. But it's just a big open empty world, and you Tim the Toolman Taylor up, then goof troop your way down. So I mean, like, yeah, I wasn't really fond of that. And to be honest, I can't even really remember a lot of the other stuff. They showed Borderlands 3, which was okay. We already know about Borderlands 3. They've already given that game to, like, didn't they give that game to like Twitch streamers to play that game? So it's like, okay, you're showing us more Borderlands. It's coming out in a few weeks. We got it. Borderlands 3 is going to be hype. You know, you're just showing more of that, which is great, but we've seen a lot of the game. There's been a lot of gameplay of Borderlands 3. It's already been up at multiple different presentations. Like, it's time for the game to just launch. You know, they're giving away awards like, oh, Legend of Zelda, you know, Link's Awakening. Well, they didn't show any new gameplay or anything, so it's like, okay, your lady's coming up and accepting an award for a game that's not even out yet. Okay, fine, great, sounds good. Okay, you know, so overall, the show just seemed like it was thrown together as like a weird mismatch of like a budget E3, like a worse E3, nowhere near as good as a Nintendo Direct, and somewhere near the quality of an Inside Xbox or what was it, a Sony Direct, whatever they call it, State of Play. It seems like it was a live State of Play, or like a live Sony Direct with Jeff, or Inside Xbox with Jeff Keighley. That's what it seemed like to me. It wasn't a good show. Like I said, this is no knock to the developers. I think the developers did a good job with their games, and I think that they're gonna have some great games for people to play. There's some like shadow drops. They showed off some stuff, but I mean, like, EA was there, and they're like, oh yeah, well, we've replaced microtransaction, you know, random loot boxes with actual regular upgrading. Well, that's great to hear, EA. I appreciate you guys going back to regular gameplay. We'll see how you guys try to gouge customers with Need for Speed Heat, you know, we'll see. But I mean, like, that looked okay, but I mean, I don't buy EA games. But I mean, overall, I mean, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure about this presentation. I don't think it was very good. If I was to give it a letter score or a grade out of 10, I'd probably say this was a solid 5 or 6, 5.5 to 6 to me, or like a D minus. How about that? You know, so it definitely was not a great showing. E3 was obviously much better, and you know, maybe this is just something for me, and I get it. They're in Germany. This is about Western gaming. You know, Keighley has a lot of ties with the Western developers. I get it, man. But man, that show was heavy, like super heavy on the Western, you know, Destiny, Call of Duty style of game, shooters. Like, it was really heavy on that, man. I mean, like, there was like no RPGs, bro. Like, almost no RPGs. I mean, there was Darksiders Genesis, which was okay. That was kind of cool, Diablo style, kind of looting, you know, and you know, jack people up and stuff. That was kind of cool. I'll give it that, you know. But we already knew about that game, you know. So I mean, it's not like there can't be repeat games, and it's not like it wasn't good. But there was some good stuff, man. But it's hard to get excited when there was literally like no RPGs, no real like action games. You know what I'm saying? There's like a lot of like Life is, you know, like Life is Strange kind of movie. Like Sony shadow dropping a live action game where you're picking like, bruh, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm good. I'm straight on that. You know, so he just kind of mad overall. But like I said, once again, to Keighley, this man is doing a great job. I'm gonna sit here and say this because if they said, hey OJ, you need to start building contacts, you need to start producing shows like this, you need to start doing all this, there'd be no way that I could produce a show anywhere near as good as Keighley. So let's give credit where credit is due. I think he's trying. He's working with the developers that want to work with him. I'm pretty sure he reached out to Bandai Namco and more of the other developers to kind of get more Japanese games, because remember, he was the one who was involved like with stuff like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, you know, 3 getting revealed for the Switch, Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2, Bayonetta 3. So it's not like he has something against those type of developers or he doesn't have contacts, but he's working with people that want to work with him. You know, so this is not a knock on Keighley, because if he's not doing this, nobody is. We've seen that before in the gaming industry. If Keighley's not trying to do this, nobody's doing it at all. We just don't get anything. All we get is what the developers want to do. So Keighley's like the one dude that's actually trying to do stuff like this at these shows and to produce these things. So you can't really knock Keighley too much. And this is not an attack on Keighley. I like what he does. I appreciate what he does and as somebody who's also in, you know, where I don't host like he does, but I have an audience and I try to speak to you guys and try to present information and gameplay and shows. I can appreciate and I respect what he does, you know. So this is not on Keighley, and I think he gets too much crap for, you know, basically him doing this. Yes, he gets paid and yes, he does all that, but I mean, the dude's got to eat, right? So I mean, like, I think he lives in Los Angeles too, so you know he's got to make some money because he's got to eat, because Los Angeles is ridiculous to live. So I mean, it's not like this is not a knock on Keighley or the games. It's just a knock on basically the show just wasn't that appealing to me when it comes down to it, because I think they were hyping it up a little bit too much. They hyped it up a little bit too much, and SEGA didn't do us any favors with what they were hyping beforehand. But anyway, what do you guys think on the YouTube land? All the PlayerEssence Ninja out there, what do you guys think about the Gamescom presentation? What do you guys think about everything when it comes down to it? I'll have the full replay up, maybe not. And for those who are watching live, because you guys can see the live chat, what do you guys think about this? We're going to get into that, but for the YouTube people, drop a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you guys think. But alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Make sure you check out the links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter. Give us a like, social media, all that good stuff, and we will see you guys for the next video. Peace!